Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest Cats Chat. I'm here talking to some lovely gentlemen, Austin and Ash, this evening, and we're here to talk about the outcome, result, performance of the Bayern Munich friendly out in South Korea. Of course, we've got another Bayern Munich friendly coming up next week, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that again. But let's hope for a different result next time. Gentlemen, how are you doing? Let's start with Ash.
Good. I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch that first game, and then they were like all day long football plus the Olympic Games. There were U.S. women's, Canadian women, and then they had two friendlies. City and Chelsea and Liverpool are all playing here in America. So a lot of football yesterday, starting at 4 o'clock in the morning, which was tough.
Yeah, you should have got up at 4:45. You'd have enjoyed it a bit more, I'm sure. Austin, what about you?
I'm good, thank you very much. I didn't see the game yesterday because I went to see a friend in the Lake District, and
Awful, terrible.
I know it was. You'd hate some of.
What are your priorities, man?
Yeah.
Well, looking at the first half, which I did this morning, I looked at the whole game this morning, and I'm pleased I missed the first half. In fact, I nearly switched it off when I was watching it, knowing the result, because I thought we were absolutely awful. That
is kind of the danger of actually watching a game when you know what the result is and you know we've lost. So you're like, why am I putting myself through this? But, you know, us Spurs fans, we do have to kind of embrace the suck sometimes because that is often what comes along. But hey, okay, so can we very quickly talk about the first half and then we'll get on to the fun stuff? First half was a little bit scary, can I say?
It was attack versus defence. I will say one thing, they weren't very bloody friendly.
It was not a friendly, was it? It was a very unfriendly
Korean
friendly.
Centre half was a monster. He was as rough as hell, as was their right back. And they were lucky to have someone else not sent off as well.
Yeah, the goal scorer.
Yes.
Yeah, he should have gone. If it had been a normal game, he would have gone. He would have walked. But then if it's a normal game, he probably wouldn't have been putting those challenges in. So
don't know.
I've got some positive things to say. I've got some positive things to say about the first half.
Oh, go on then.
All right. Good to see Vicario. He did make sort of a mistake on the goal, but he's an excellent goalkeeper. So I'm glad we've got him. By the way, I think Austin should be given a chance to be our number 2 because I think he's got a high skill level as well. Okay, so he looked good. Not in the second half. I was going to say something about the defense. I know. Gray started at number 6. I actually thought, once again, a lot of confidence. He can turn on the ball, but Ange is right. He needs to be a little bit more physical, which will come in time. But I'm so happy because we talked about in the podcast before about giving time to these 18-year-olds, because he started Gray and then he put Bergvall on in the second half. So 45 minutes each. I thought they were some nice contributions. I thought Decky, he's actually doing okay as a false number 9. I quite like that. Brennan Johnson, I think Stu, you had mentioned, we were talking about right wing. He just, I don't know, when he starts, he's not as good as he is when he's a sub. So he didn't make a lot of contributions in the first half. Who else stood out? Oh, Madison. Because where is Madison? I think it was 10 minutes in before I heard his name mentioned,
Yeah, Madison really didn't stand out.
He didn't. So we got to talk about what is going on there. Sarr ran around a lot, but really didn't do a lot. Johnson didn't do a lot.
Probably our best chance, I think, at the first half. Sarr. So
did he have a chance?
Yeah.
I forget. Anyway, yeah, it wasn't a great, but I did see positives, and I do like these young guys at least getting minutes, more than 10 minutes in these games. Hopefully it'll continue in the Europa League. I have good things to say about the second half, but anyway.
We'll get on to that later. In terms of your points, Decky, I don't really want to be a single focused person, but Decky played well. Decky was one of the few positives, I think, from that first half. Vicario did mess up and could have done better, but it's better to see those mistakes being made in pre-season and have them learnt from and actually happen once the games mean something. Gray, I like Gray. I think Gray's very good. It's a little bit worrying that Gray's worst performances have been when he's actually been in the position we really, really need him for, number 6. When he's played at centre-back, when he's played at right-back, even when he's played in midfield, he's been better. But when he's been receiving the ball on the turn, not so good. Those are my thoughts. Austin, anything else from the first half?
I thought Jed Spence was absolutely superb. He started slightly slowly, but after that, he made some terrific challenges. And
was at fault for the first goal, though. He was he was calling for the ball, and Vicario gave it to him. So it's 50-50 between him and Vicario.
Well, no, I think it's 100% Vicario, because Spence didn't know the guy was right up his backside. He was right.
Well, then Spence should know. I mean, you've got to be aware in that kind of thing. If you're going to be playing that position and asking for the ball there, you've got to be aware of what's going on around you. And he wasn't. So I would lay a little bit of the blame, maybe not 50-50. Ash said something about Austin and how he thinks he should be number 2. I got told off last week by a certain Mr. Merritt for saying that there was maybe a little bit of blame to be laid at Austin's door because I didn't think he should be punching at the age of 24 years old.
A little harsh.
You gave me a little telling off. There was a slap on the hand and everything, I tell you. But no.
You're just a wimp, Stu.
Yeah, I know. It's a big wimp, big wimp. So no, I thought I like Austin. I think there's a lot more to come from him. I'm just surprised he hasn't been coached out of flapping at the ball. He should have taken the ball a bit cleaner instead of trying to punch it out.
Well, funnily enough, I looked at it again after we had our online conversation, and I thought he made a good, clean punch. He got it outside of the penalty area with a good punch, further than Vicario does a lot of the time. And I thought he was slightly unlucky not to save the ball because he was back up again. He just didn't get there, and it was
he got close. I thought Vicario. I thought for the second goal, he made a good stop. He was just unlucky. It went back to the Bayern Munich player, and he came very close to getting fingertips on it for the chance.
Yes,
but no, I mean, my only concern was Austin punching at all. And if you are going to punch, you've got to make sure it goes far enough and it doesn't go straight to one of their players. You know, that's the thing with punching. Goalkeepers that punch, it's a tactic, it's a way of doing things. But if you could do it, you've got to do it right. And I didn't think he did. That's all I'm going to say.
No, good, Stu, good point. But if we recall last season for several games, probably because his confidence was shaken a bit because of those opponents backing into him. Vicario was flapping on the balls and then seemed to clean it up as the games went on. So yeah, could have to do with confidence. I just like him. He's young. He's younger. I think he's got more upshot than Forster. So it'd be nice to see him incorporated into.
He's got a good physical presence as well. He's a chunky lad.
Yeah, very.
He's got feet that work as well at the moment. So because Forster's out with a foot injury, isn't he? So yeah, some kind of injury. He's not working.
You know, we can
the old man's broken.
We can see him perhaps starting some of those Europa games because Vicario can't be starting all those games. So
goalkeepers can though. Goalkeepers, it's not as wearing on them as say a midfielder. I don't think we can play Sarr or Maddison or any of those guys for every single game. And there's going to be a lot of games, even if we don't actually qualify beyond the initial round of whatever it is for the Europa League. We've got 8 games to play. It's going to be, so that's 10 cup games in total as a minimum.
He'll play. He'll play.
Yeah,
exactly. Anyway, go on. What's the next thing? Are we to the second half? Yeah?
Second half. Let's talk second half, which was better. I felt there was a little bit more zip, a little bit more verve, a little bit more interest on our side. Maybe it helps that Bayern Munich also changed a load of players and maybe weren't quite as strong in the second half. But once again, I thought the young players stepped up and showed what they can do. And that's been, for me, the highlight of pre-season. The young players, the youth that have come through and shown what they can do this year.
Just going back very briefly to the first half, Bayern Munich only got there 48 hours beforehand. We'd been there for a week and we'd played games. We'd been doing meetings and all the rest of it in hot conditions. I thought we looked jaded in the first half, and they looked a damn sight fresher than we did. So that's my front look on the first.
Postecoglou after the match said this comes down to the fact that we've been training in this temperature for a week. We've been training every single day. We've been training hard. I've been squeezing every little ounce of energy out of them to try and get them as fit as possible. And it wasn't there in the legs today. Yeah. So you could kind of see that. But when the youngsters came on, and I think the youngsters have actually played more games over the last few weeks than the first teamers, they put in a really good display. And of everybody, once again, our young man from Sweden, Lucas Bergvall, how good was he?
You know, Stu, there was one point where, because remember, Ange had said, you know, he wants those two guys, the two kids, to be a bit more physical. He actually, I think it was in our penalty area, he barged a guy off the ball. And I
did.
Shoulder to shoulder.
It must be Bergvall because he's the only blonde on the team. And I thought, I bet you Ange like that, you know? So yeah, totally agree. And once again, getting back to my point last week, I hope he gets to play, really, in those cup games and Europa games.
I think he played late.
Yeah. Also, you know, I totally agree about the young guys, but I tell you who else impressed me second half was Basuma. He actually looks like he cares this season. He actually ran back to defend remember last season, he'd get beaten, the other team would have a counterattack, and you'd see him sort of lollygagging backwards, you know. He actually came back, and I went, gee, I wonder if he's feeling a little bit of pressure or something, which would be great, because we'd like to see the best Basuma. So I quite liked him coming on.
The thing with Basuma, I don't know if it's mental or if it's physical, because I mean, he has suffered from malaria, and malaria is one of those things that comes round. You get it once, and then it goes dormant, and then it comes back, and it goes dormant, and then it comes back. And apparently, while he was away at the African Cup of Nations, he had a bout of malaria again. So is it physical? Was he just not on form because he never recovered fully from that bout of malaria? Or is it a mental aspect? Is when things are going well for him, he's a brilliant player on form. I kind of get the feeling there's a touch of mental issues there. Not in a, he needs to go and see someone about it, which, heck, let's say all professionals should probably be seeing someone anyway to try and get that last 1%, if at all possible. But I just think there might be something there in terms of when he feels in form, when he feels good, when he feels as though things are running for him, he's a fantastic player. Same as Dele Alli. Like the moment I felt Dele Alli dropped off was when Dele Alli stopped really enjoying the game and stopped trying to nutmeg everybody at least once a game. There was a period where he would nutmeg someone once a game, and you go, oh yeah, Dele's on form today. He's tried it. He's had a go, and he'd do it as well, and it would look great. And you knew you get a good performance from him. When he stopped trying to do that, like the joy kind of eked out of his game, and something seemed to be missing for me. So it was the same with Basuma last season. I thought there were times up until I think the second sending off, the Luton game, I think it was, where he got sent off. You're like, after that, he just didn't seem the same player. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah. Tell you who else, and he might be going soon, but I thought Emerson was pretty solid at center back.
Very solid, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going, is this because he knows he's going, or because he's just eliminating himself? Because we know his problems on the attack, but when he sort of focuses on defense, it's strangely in the center back role, he was actually really solid, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. Are we still selling him? Do we still?
Well, I mean, I said in the forum, I think everybody knows Emerson Royale is a good, solid defender. And if you just give him a role of defending, he does a good job. When he played centre-back for us with Davis, he actually did a good job. There were very few times where he thought, oh, yeah, they got caught out there. There was once against Aston Villa that really stood out. And Oliver Watkins split them. But, I mean, Oliver Watkins has split better defences than that lot. So, for me, it's not about whether or not he's a good player. it's about space in the squad and the amount of money that we can recoup for a player who's hasn't got a huge amount of time left on his contract. I think he's got 2 years. If we sell him now, then he can go somewhere and he can play, and we can probably get 15 to 20 million for him. 15 million plus X amount of add-ons. But if we keep him, he's going to be third choice right back, third choice centre back. Do we need a third choice right back or third choice centre back who's not homegrown, who's taking up a space in the squad, when we could be giving that spot to someone else? Maybe even Phillips, Davis. You know, we've got 3 starting centre backs to start with. Sorry?
We certainly don't need him as centre back. As right back, maybe, yes, but you've got 3 top quality centre backs, the first 3, and then Gray played perfectly adequately at centre back as well.
Yeah, but also if you look at right back, he's probably 4th choice right back now. We've got Pedro Porro. We've got Jed Spence, probably number 1 and number 2. I think Spence has done so well. I am so happy to see the news coming out about, you know, Postecoglou saying he's really impressed and how he's a full part of the squad, and he's looking forward to having him for the season. Jed Spence, I think he had an interview with Ali Gold on football.london, which everybody, I believe, should go and have a look at, because football.london, the Ali Gold interviews, always good reading. But yeah, so Pedro Porro number 1, Jed Spence, I think, number 2. Then in a pinch, Archie Gray.
Defender, as a fullback defender.
He's very good going forward, though.
Defensive work is very, very good.
Yeah,
I think it's probably the weakest part of his game. I think going forwards, he's very, very, very attacking. I mean, he can drop a bollock occasionally on when it comes to defensiveness. I got the first swear word in. Excellent.
You sort of skimmed over Porro. He has to be one of the best shot makers in well, especially as a defender in our team. He's just a monster. But you know what? He's kind of like when Walker was playing for us. He always forgets the guy behind him. So he needs to improve on his defensive. He always forgets the guy behind him, and that is dangerous.
He has massively improved, though.
Yes,
massively improved. He's gone from being the worst right back at the club to being probably top 3 in the league. So,
well,
the other thing I really like about Pedro Porro is his attitude. When he scored that goal today, or yesterday, sorry, I saw it today. When he scored that goal today, his attitude was, "Let's get on, let's get back at them."
He's all for the team.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy.
Absolutely.
And he started doing interviews in English as well. Quite bad English, but I mean, good luck to him. To be honest, I don't think I could do an interview in Portuguese. So,
in fairness, I think there are a few cads that could do an English interview as well as he does.
Well, maybe.
we're still
God, this is going out live, isn't it? Oh shit!
No, it's not. But I'm keeping it in there.
Yes, thank you, Stu.
We're really, really missing our 3 starting defenders.
Yeah.
Because one of our in the forum, one of our guys, Mr. Biblical Proportions, immediately starts into his. Oh, I see the same as last year. We're crappy on defense. Blah 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 blah. We have.
I can't think to whom you refer, actually.
A guy named Bazza? No, I didn't say that. No. Anyway, I don't think he listens to these things anyway. Yeah, 3 of them are missing. Spence, yeah. I think he relishes going into the in that inverted fullback position. Yeah, right. Yeah, so we're looking at anybody else second half apart from the kids before we get to the kids. Anybody?
Yeah, Ollie Skip got the armband from Son when Son went off.
Right.
And I thought Skip was very, very solid.
What position did he play? Was he in the middle?
It was centre defence.
He started in midfield, and then when Davis came off, when Romero came off, when somebody came off, he went back to defence.
Yeah.
And again, somebody else who played better when they were out of position. But very strange. Very strange. People who go into defence seem to do really well in our team. As soon as they're forced to go into midfield and actually play their role, they start to be a little bit loose with the ball. What's going on?
Making a direct link to the kids, Jamie Donnelly, out of position at left back, but he does look very good.
He does.
The most number 10 left back ever, I think, we've ever had.
Apart from possibly Stevie. Oh, well, Stevie Perryman's right back, but
yeah. As long as you say Perryman and not Carr, Stevie Carr was not all right.
Timo hasn't impressed so far this preseason, and he is on our left side.
Herr Werner came on and once again did his usual, dropped the shoulder, went to the byline, fizzed it across, and somebody should have got a foot on it.
Yeah,
that is Every game he gets at least one of those.
One of those.
Right. Also, every game.
Listen,
he was so short with 2 or 3 passes today that would have put him in position.
That particular play is definitely from the right or the left, is definitely one of our strongest suits. Is that cut back? I like that a lot, and we'll be scoring goals from that.
There were 2 or 3 very good through balls to Brennan Johnson today as well. One was from the Scandinavian. He
Lucas.
Lovely ball thrown on the inside, and then Alfie Devine, I think, played 1 or 2 good through balls as well to that right wing position. I think one of which might have been to Mikey Moore.
Yeah,
Devine
definitely.
Very nice passes today, and he also put himself about a bit today. I thought his physicality was excellent.
Devine, once again, didn't look out of place. And it's kind of got to the point as, what are we going to do with this guy? Are we going to send him out on loan, or is he going to stick around and actually be a part of the team? Because who do you send him on loan to? I don't want him going back to Plymouth.
What's his strongest position, Stu?
Depends who you ask. I mean, he broke through as an attacking midfielder. When he played, I think it was Port Vale, he played as an attacking midfielder. When he went to Portsmouth, originally, he was an attacking midfielder. But towards the end of the season, he started playing a bit deeper. With us, he's played attacking midfielder up until this season. And in pre-season, he's basically been playing the number 6 role and looking really good at it. He's knitted the play together very well. He's still got that ability to ping a ball out wide. Really, really nice weight on the ball, which I think is something a lot of people underappreciate. I'm a big fan of a good weighted ball, I have to say. For me, I don't know. We've got so many players that could play 6 now. There's at least 3 or 4 players that you could fit into that number 6 position. Bazuma, obviously, number 1. Archie Gray, number 2. Bergvall can do it as well, I think. And now Alfie Devine.
And Skip.
And Bentancur as well has played 6 as well in the past.
Yeah.
So, it's an embarrassment of riches almost.
So 3 defenders and Bentancur are not with the team yet. Okay.
Yeah. And Giovanni Lo Celso as well, but I'm not sure if we're counting him. Right. So we kind of got an embarrassment of riches in certain areas and a little bit of a shortage in others. We're still missing that number 9. We're still missing that out-and-out right winger who's going to really make a difference, I think. Brennan Johnson is a goal threat. Brennan Johnson is not the kind of person who's going to knock it past 2 people and put a wicked cross in. So I still think Brennan Johnson is going to be a really good substitute level player. The kind of guy that comes on, is good at picking up the speed of the game, because that's something he did very well last season. He came in, he needed very little time adapting to the speed of the game. He just went at it and normally did well. Yep. But as a starter, I think he's missing a bit of something.
He's still only a youngster. He's only 22.
Yeah, no, he's very, very young.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
But one thing I like is the number of homegrown players that we've got in the squad at the moment. Because, okay, discount Bergvall, obviously, but the other lads, Mikey Moore, Devine,
Donley,
and Lancashire.
Well, Lancashire, yes. Lancashire didn't get much of a look in today, but he's impressed me in the times he's played on the tour.
Apparently, he's impressed the coaching staff as well. So there's talk that he may have pushed himself ahead of someone like Scarlett or Veliz. Which kind of begs the question: what do we do with Alejo Veliz? I mean, is this a guy we send out on loan? Fiorentina are apparently interested. Do we try and sell him and make what we can back on it? It's a tough one.
I don't want to sell him because he's very, very highly rated. And I was impressed with him when he played those few times at the end of last season. So I'd like him out on loan, if anything, to just to build his game up somewhere else and see if he does, because he could be a real asset. I think he would have been. We've got this thing where recently, last couple of years, we buy a player, we let them stay on loan for 6 months at their current club, and then we bring them in the following transfer window. We didn't do that with Elise, and I'm just thinking we should have done that. We should have let him stay there. We should have let him continue to improve his game in Argentina, and build that confidence, build that first team starter feeling. But bringing him in to immediately be someone that goes into our under 21s or sits on the bench, and then farm him out on loan to an extremely unsuccessful loan, I didn't think it did him any favors. No.
By the way, where is Dane Scarlett?
Dane Scarlett is on the bench.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Yeah. Exactly. That was a rhetorical question. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, so
but Dane Scarlett, there was something kind of jumped into my mind with all the talk we've had this week. All the talk has been about Dominic Solanke. Okay.
Yeah.
Dominic Solanke was a revelation in the England youth groups, playing for his nation as a youngster, scored loads and loads of goals. I believe he broke some record, which has, I believe, since been broken by Scarlett. And then he came through and didn't really do very much, and then got loaned, then got sold, went down to the Championship, did okay in the Championship, then suddenly took off in the Championship, came up to the Premier League, had a bit of an iffy season, and then last season did really well. He's now 26. Dane Scarlett's what, 19, 20?
Mm.
So in 6 years' time, is Dane Scarlett going to be at that level? Because I think he's kind of treading the same path.
It's hard to say. I like Solanke. I saw him a few times last season. His heading is terrific. He closes people down. He's got pace. I mean, as a good Solanke would be absolutely perfect for us. It's a question of consistency.
Question of consistency, indeed.
But it's a question of what he does this season coming, because last season he was consistent all season. He scored, 19, 20 goals?
Yeah. But those included penalties. If you take away his penalties, it was not as impressive. His non-penalty expected goals was actually lower than Richarlison's, around the same as Tony's.
Oh, so there's a guy we haven't mentioned as well at all.
Ivan Toney.
Where is Richie?
Oh, Richie's on the bench, injured, unable to take a full part in training at the moment. So maybe he'll be fit for the second game against Bayern Munich.
I thought you were going to say that maybe he'll be fit for the second part of the season, something like that.
I'm worried about Richarlison because these injuries do not seem to be lessening. They seem to be building and building, and he seems to be out for longer and longer each time.
I think if 50 or 60 million from Saudi Arabia, I'd snap their hands off.
If they offered us some money back, I think you'd have to take it, because 60 million would buy you someone like Tony, who is not, for me, the ideal choice. But you put 5 million on top of that, and you've got Solanke, who for me is not the ideal choice. But
I'll tell you one guy on the opponents who is always a thorn in our side, and I always liked him. I think he played for the Gunners. Is this Gnabry?
Serge Gnabry, yeah,
always scores, and he's just a live wire.
I hate him. I hate him.
But
scored 4 goals against us in that 7-1.
Exactly.
I hate him.
You have to admire his attacking talents and incisiveness. I really like that guy, and you're right, because he used to be with the other team. But
Stuart Blockash, if you mentioned him again.
We just mute him for a few minutes. Mute him while he talks up the ex-Arsenal players. I liked the look of Mattis Tell, I have to say. I thought he did very nicely, very direct in his running and stretched us.
Who's this?
Mattis Tell of Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
He was
he
pretty
was
good.
very good.
Yeah.
He was very. But coming back to UK-based players, Evan Ferguson, I really liked when he came on the scene a year and a half ago. He looks a real complete player.
Yeah, Evan Ferguson would be excellent. He's a very, very, very good young player. I think he's got all the tools to develop into someone who could be even better. There's shades of Harry Kane there.
That was my immediate thought. The first time
I know we shouldn't say it. I know we shouldn't say it, but there's shades of Harry Kane there. Just the way he receives the ball, the way he turns on the ball, the way he can bring others into play, and he can score not just the tap-ins, but he can score all kinds of goals. He can score the spectacular as well. But it takes a lot of money to price him away from Brighton. So,
if we got 60 million for Richie, I'd pay 100 million for Evan Ferguson. But it's
if
not
we're
my
paying 100 million, would probably buy Julian Alvarez, who would be my number one choice if we could persuade him to join the club. Alvarez, I think, is that good a player. I think you could also probably get Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, who, I mean, I've looked at the stats for the 4 strikers that we've been linked with recently. Well, sorry, the 3 strikers and Richarlison. Gyökeres is way ahead in terms of his expected, exceeding his expected goals, the number of players he goes past, the way he commits players, he does all of those things. He does better than everybody else. So, if he could transfer his form in Portugal to the UK, and he did it in the Championship as well, then he could be a real thorn for attackers in any side.
The other player I wouldn't mind is the Dutch lad at Newcastle, who I think is a terrific player, whose conversion rate is really quite good.
Who's that?
Dutch lad? Swedish lad. Isaac.
I'm sorry, Swedish, yes.
Yeah. No, he's really good as well. But again, that's got to be 105, 110 million plus, I would have thought. It's not like Newcastle need the money. So
no. But he's got pace.
While we're talking about Newcastle, how does everybody feel about this Amanda Staveley link? You up to speed on that?
Yeah. Yes, she's sold a share in Newcastle, hasn't she? And she's looking for a 100 million deal with someone.
She's looking to build a group of investors to buy into a club. And at the moment, apparently, Tottenham is the club that she's got her eyes on.
I don't like the Arabic link.
Yeah, me neither.
I really don't like the Arabic link. I think it stinks.
I think all of us agree on that. Yeah. But it might be inevitable.
Can we, before we go any further on that, though, can we clear that up? It's not because they're Arabic. It's because of the politics around the money. That is the only reason why I have an issue with it.
Sorry, yes, I don't have a problem with race. I have a problem with politics, and Saudi Arabia absolutely stinks as a country.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you just lost all sponsorship we could have got from this. Thanks for that. But no, it would have been turned down anyway. But yeah, actually, fuck it. While we're on it, hey, you out there, if you've been to any riots, any so-called protests, if you've been online stirring up hatred and basically being a fucking idiot, can you turn us off right now? Because you are not people we want watching. Thank you very much. All right, back to normal program. I feel really annoyed about this.
Can I second that, please, Stuart? Because I think there are some absolute morons out there, and the hate speech that we've had is horrendous.
It's not... Hate speech is normal, especially on social media. But the number of people that I've seen with Spurs tags in their bios saying things like, get out of my country. If you can't respect our values, then you shouldn't be here. Fuck you. Just
as a point of order, I think it should be an absolute for everyone to have a DNA test the day they're born, because we are so diverse as a population.
Yes.
Everyone came across one of the seas that surround our land to populate this place. It didn't have a population originally. So we're all mixed race. So fuck off the lot of you.
Right. Absolutely. Like, you just look at myself. I have Nordic roots. I have German heritage. I've got British heritage. Okay.
I'm 20% Jewish.
Like, seriously. And if you're going to complain about stuff, England is a country that has been built on immigrants. You've had the Polish, you've had the Jamaicans, we've had the Irish, we've had the East Asian, we've had Eastern Europeans. All manner of people at various stages have come in, helped build this country into what it is. And along that, with that, we've taken the bits from their culture that work for us and we've integrated it. So, you know, if you're unhappy with immigration, then don't go to your local Indian or get a curry. Don't sit on your IKEA furniture. Don't drive your Volkswagen or your Honda.
And never
all of these things. Never have a pizza. Jesus Christ, no, because that's awful. You know, don't have a bagel.
My life.
You know, don't go to Chick-King. Not allowed to do that. But yeah.
Anyway.
But hey.
Right. Football beckons.
Football beckons. Let's get back to the football. Where were we? Yeah. So coming out of the Bayern Munich game, I'm not upset. This was the first tough side we faced. We've been training hard in hot, humid conditions. Bayern Munich legitimately are a better side than us. They spend more money. They've spent more money building that squad over a period of seasons. We're in the year 2 of a project. Yes, they've just changed manager, but they've got there's a DNA there that they've had in place for a long time. So I'm not unhappy that we've lost against Bayern Munich. I'm a little bit unhappy that we still seem to have some of the problems that we had before. So we're not very varied in our attacking play. We're not really creating enough chances. We're not getting the ball into the forwards in enough different ways. But those are concerns that still can be worked on. We've got another, 10 days before start the season, 15 days.
Picking you up on that, Stu, I thought some of our younger players, the Scarlets, the Mikey Royers, and they actually came up with some inventive football. There were a couple of nice little back heels. There were a couple of reverse passes. There were really a couple of nice 1-2s down the right-hand side in particular. And I actually thought they looked like opening opportunities up in a way that we hadn't done in the first half.
And a lot of the complaints I've seen has been about the defence. Well, 3/4 of our defence is not there.
Yeah.
So, we've got QT to come back. We've got Van der Ven to come back. We've got Udogie to come back. When those players are back, we're going to be playing out the back in different ways with more confidence and more alacrity. So
I think we have to mention Dragoshin, who I thought looked quite good at times yesterday.
He did look good at times. So I'm hoping Bayern Munich regretted not pushing the boat out even further to buy him. But we came out on top on that one. So very nice. Yeah. Thank you very much. So everybody else with me, just not particularly upset by the fact we lost this one preseason game?
I've seen enough defeats to not worry about defeats, but
yeah,
it's more about the style and the attitude. And I thought in the second half, our attitude was excellent and our style was very good.
Ash, how you feeling?
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. I'm concerned about Madison because this has been going on for a while, and he was our linchpin, and he may not be our linchpin, this season. And if so, and if Decky is going to be playing in false 9, then who's going to step up? And if it's, I'd be happy. I said this last week to making another transition season and keep bringing the youth in, and perhaps if Bergvall is better there, then unless we bring somebody else in, I'd like to see that. What do you guys think about Madison? What are we going to do about him? Because wasn't it Charlie?
I thought Madison had a couple of really, really brilliant moves today.
One he did, and then it just fell apart at the end. It was brilliant, actually, but then
he had another run where he beat 2 or 3 players.
People. Yeah.
So I've just got a notification. Dominic Solanke signed, £60 million deal done. Tottenham's dream attack this season. That's on the Daily Express.
It's the Daily Express. It's the Daily Express. I'm not going to believe it. Yeah. Okay. The Daily Express. We'll see. Hang on. Let me check news now. News now is normally pretty good at this kind of stuff.
Still doesn't solve the Madison issue.
It doesn't solve the Madison issue. No. Madison. I think Madison and Son, 2 of the older players, and two of the players who potentially could have had either the legs taken out from them by this hard training we've had recently. So I'm not going to worry until we see a little bit more. We'll see more. When the season starts and we go from there.
I think we'll have a better idea next Saturday when we play Bayern again.
I hope we've got Romero and Van der Ven and Udogie back at that point, and I think we'll see a different attitude almost. You know, a little bit more of you're gonna have to work harder than that to get past us.
Yes, I like Snoop Dogg. I love Romero. I love Van der Ven.
So yeah, okay. So I see absolutely nothing on Solanke.
No,
we'll see. We'll see whether what comes up, what happens. We may be a bit behind the times by the time this podcast comes out.
Okay, Stu. I'm going to say something now, and then you can cut it out if it doesn't happen. You heard it here first.
I will not. Go on.
Nope, done it now. That's it.
No, what did you say?
You heard it here first. We've signed Solanke.
Okay.
The Daily Merit. The Daily Merit.
The Daily Merit. Maybe there's some merit in this argument. We'll see.
Left wing rag.
Okay. If Solanke has happened, what are your thoughts? Because I think I've made my thoughts known.
I've said for the last couple of weeks that I really like Solanke, and I'd be very happy having him on board. I think he'll fit our style of play absolutely perfectly. At 26, we've probably got 5 years out of him, and I think he'd be first rate.
Ash,
I mean, that must, if that's happening, that's mean Richie must be going. And I to be honest, I've not seen enough about him. I'm relying on you guys, and don't know what else to say. Just not what I have seen. Guess Crystal Palace, right?
Bournemouth.
No, he's Bournemouth. And he was ex Liverpool.
Yeah, big step
and
up.
Swansea.
Big step up. Okay, I
Came
love
from
him.
Chelsea in the first place, I think.
Liverpool, Swansea, Bournemouth, I think was the way.
No kidding. Yikes.
Yeah. Just off the top of my head. Can't. Yeah.
Oh,
he's an honorary Welshman, Ash. You'll love him.
I believe Ash is a Cardiff boy, so he will hate him.
Newport, Cardiff.
Newport.
Swansea.
There you go. See, so you're not allowed to like him. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes. We've got another game on Saturday against Bayern Munich again. We'll see how that one goes. We will be back on the Sunday, as always, to once again give our thoughts. Hopefully, we'll be live at that point, try and sort out the technical issues that I was having tonight. It's my apologies. It was definitely down to me. But, gentlemen, thank you very, very much for your time.
Thank you, Stuart.
Cheers, guys.
And good night to everyone. And we'll be speaking again soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Good to see you, Ash.
Yeah,